Urgent Dallas Cowboys fans. Do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because here, we bring you daily videos with the latest Dallas Cowboys updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Alright, folks, today we're diving into a story that's been making waves in the NFL community, especially among Cowboys fans. It's about the current state of the Dallas Cowboys, their roster moves, contract negotiations, trade rumors, and what all of this could mean for the upcoming season. And trust me, you'll want to stay tuned because some of the details are pretty surprising, and the implications could shake up the Cowboys' future in ways you might not expect. So, let's get into it. We all know that the Dallas Cowboys are a team with a rich history, one that's built on star power, iconic moments, and a passionate fan base that lives and breathes everything Cowboys. Recently, though, things have been a bit more complicated. Under new head coach Brian Schottenheimer, the team has been trying to find its rhythm, to get everyone pulling in the same direction. Schottenheimer, known for his offensive expertise, is working hard to implement a system that maximizes the talents of Dak Prescott and the rest of the offense, but there's also a lot happening behind the scenes, especially when it comes to managing their roster and salary cap. One of the biggest stories right now revolves around Trevon Diggs, the Cowboys' star cornerback. Diggs, who's been one of the most exciting players on the team, has been the subject of intense speculation. He's coming off a big contract extension worth $97 million, which clearly shows how much Dallas values him. But at the same time, Diggs' recent injury history has raised some eyebrows. He's been battling injuries, especially that ACL tear, which caused him to miss a good chunk of the past 2 seasons. The question now is, what's next for Diggs? Will he be with the Cowboys long-term, or could we see him in another uniform soon? Recently, the Cowboys made an interesting move in the draft, selecting Siobhan Revel Jr. in the 3rd round. Many analysts and fans believed Revel had first-round talent but fell due to his ACL injury, which is a huge red flag for many NFL teams. This pick, however, has sparked some connections to Diggs, with some speculating that the Cowboys might be planning to move on from him or at least keep their options open. The idea is that Dallas might be considering trading Diggs, especially since there are rumors swirling that the Kansas City Chiefs could be interested. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would the Chiefs, or any team for that matter, trade for a cornerback who's missed so many games recently? And that's exactly the question that makes all of this so intriguing. From what I've gathered, these trade rumors aren't just idle chatter. Some outlets have suggested that Kansas City might see value in Diggs' talent, even with his injury history. They're thinking that his experience, 2-time Pro Bowler and former All-Pro, could help bolster their secondary. But here's the catch, these reports also claim that Diggs might not make a huge difference for the Chiefs, which seems contradictory. Why trade for a player who might not impact your team significantly? Well, in the NFL, sometimes it's more about the potential and the scheme fit than pure production. Maybe Kansas City believes they can rehab him or fit him into their system, but it's still a gamble. Let's take a step back and analyze what all of this means for the Cowboys. First, there's the obvious concern, managing the salary cap. The Cowboys have some big contracts on the table. Micah Parsons, for example, is expected to get a lucrative extension that could push $40 million a year. That's a huge investment, and it's part of why Dallas has to be very strategic with their cap space. Plus, they have Darren Bland, who's been fantastic and has actually surpassed Diggs on the depth chart recently. Bland is slated to hit free agency after this season, so the Cowboys are already thinking about their future at cornerback. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Diggs' contract, while massive, has no guarantees beyond this season. That means Dallas could theoretically part ways with him after 2025 and save around $12 million in cap space. The idea that some fans and analysts have floated, that moving Diggs now could open up room to pay Bland and Parsons, is worth examining. The reality is, Micah Parsons' new deal is structured in a way that might actually lower his cap hit in 2025, so the Cowboys aren't in desperate need of cap space for him. As for Bland, he's young, talented, and on the rise, so the team might prefer to keep him around instead of trading Diggs for a slightly bigger cap savings. But what about trading Diggs to the Chiefs or another team? Well, that's where the story becomes even murkier. Diggs, at just 26, has already established himself as a two-time Pro Bowler and a former All-Pro. His playmaking ability is undeniable when healthy. However, the recent pattern of injuries, missing 21 games over the last 2 seasons, raises serious questions about his durability. And with the upcoming 2025 season potentially being a half-empty glass for him, meaning he might miss a significant chunk of it, the risk associated with trading for him grows even larger. So, why would any team, especially the Chiefs, want to trade for a player who might not be available consistently? That's the million-dollar question. Some speculate that teams might see upside in his talent and believe they can get him back to his best, but that's a gamble. For the Cowboys, it's a balancing act. Do they keep Diggs, try to rehab his value and health, and see what he can bring in 2025? Or do they explore options to free up cap space and maybe draft or sign younger, healthier players? Another point to consider is how the Cowboys are handling their roster overall. They've been strategic, trying to build a team that can compete both now and in the future. Micah Parsons is the centerpiece of their defense. His ability to rush the passer and disrupt defenses is second to none in the league. Dallas is betting heavily on him becoming a generational talent, and they want to extend him with a deal that reflects his importance. The potential $40 million annual salary might seem steep, but it's a reflection of how highly they think of him. At the same time, the Cowboys have to manage their secondary, which has been a bit of a roller coaster. Bland has emerged as a true star, and the team is high on his potential. But losing Diggs, who's been a cornerstone of their defense, would be a significant change. It's a tough call, and right now, the Cowboys are walking a tightrope, balancing cap management, player health, and future prospects. Now, let's talk about the broader context. The NFC East is getting more competitive every year. The Eagles, Giants, and Washington are all making moves, some big, some small, and Dallas needs to keep pace. They've built a team that's capable of contending, but the margins are razor thin. Injuries, cap constraints, and player development all play crucial roles. The Cowboys front office has been diligent, but they also need to be bold when the opportunity arises. That's why these trade rumors about Diggs are so fascinating. They reflect the ongoing chess game that is NFL roster management. If we zoom out a bit, we see that Dallas has a history of making bold moves. Remember when they traded for Amari Cooper and immediately improved their offense? Or when they drafted CeeDee Lamb in the first round, changing their receiver core overnight? The Cowboys aren't afraid to shake things up if it means winning more games and bringing a Super Bowl back to Dallas. So, it's not out of the realm of possibility that they're weighing their options with Diggs, especially if they feel they can get comparable production or cap savings. And let's not forget that the NFL is a league driven by narratives. The storylines, players coming back from injuries, young stars rising, veteran stars being moved, these all play into the drama that surrounds every season. Dallas fans, you know how passionate and intense this franchise's fanbase is. Every game, every play is scrutinized, praised, or criticized. That's what makes following the Cowboys so engaging. And right now, the biggest storyline is what's going to happen with Trayvon Diggs. Will he stay and prove his durability? Will he be traded? Or will the Cowboys decide to let him go after 2025 to free up cap space for other priorities? In the end, all eyes are on the upcoming season. The Cowboys have high hopes, especially with their offense looking more dynamic under Schottenheimer's guidance, and defensively they want to be even more disruptive. The secondary, with Diggs, Bland, and other key players, will play a pivotal role. If Diggs can stay healthy and return to his Pro Bowl form, he could be a difference maker in the playoffs. But if injuries continue to sideline him, then the Cowboys might have to make some tough decisions. So, what's the bottom line? It's a complex puzzle, balancing cap space, player health, roster needs, and the desire to win now versus building for the future. The rumors about trading Diggs to Kansas City or elsewhere are just one piece of this puzzle, but they highlight how much Dallas is thinking ahead. They're looking to maximize their roster, stay flexible, and keep their championship window open. And for fans, it's a roller coaster of emotions, hope, uncertainty, and anticipation. As we watch this story unfold, one thing is clear: Dallas is never boring. They're constantly evolving, always looking for that edge, that moment to push them closer to their ultimate goal, a Super Bowl. Whether Diggs stays, goes, or is traded down the line, the Cowboys are in a critical phase of their franchise's journey. And we, as fans, get to be right there, watching it all happen in real time. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think Diggs stays in Dallas long term? Are you worried about his injury history? Or do you believe the team should explore trades to open up cap space and rebuild the secondary? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion really matters so much to us and to the Cowboys. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Dallas Cowboys news. We're in this together, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for America's team.